Hey, well met, travelers. Well, the time has come. Rings of Power Season 2 is behind us, and it's time to move on. Truth be told, I never actually intended for this channel to be an all Tolkien, all the time affair. There are many other franchises I love that I'm keeping track of, and we're going to have to start talking about those now because there's not much happening on the Rings of Power front. I'm a really big fan of DC Comics, so I'm keeping my eye on the James Gunn Superman movie, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. I'm keeping my eye on the new Jurassic World movie with Scarlett Johansson, which I might make content about in the near future. I'm keeping my eye on Netflix's Chronicles of Narnia project with Greta Gerwig as the director. Might talk about that a little bit later too. But as it stands right now, the thing that's making big waves in the news today is Superman, James Gunn's upcoming movie in 2025. Now, I've skipped over a lot of the news surrounding this movie during the past couple weeks or months because I was trying to do something with my content that didn't work out the way I wanted to. So now we're moving into more low effort stuff. And the news that we're talking about today is that there's apparently been a toy listing leak from McFarlane Toys that seems to spoil a major villain in the Superman film. We're looking at comicbookmovie.com right here. Superman director James Gunn responds to recent toy leaks. I don't think they spoil anything. So what basically happened, as I understand it, is that somebody found an alleged list of upcoming toys or tie-in toys for the Superman film that's coming out in 2025, and it included a couple of interesting items on the list. Now, the list has not been confirmed. It's still rumored, but everybody's talking about it, so we have to talk about it. And toy list leaks of this kind have been proven right in the past. It's kind of ironic that toy listings are becoming film spoilers, but, science marches on. Anyway, the listing showed Ultraman as one of the figures, and two other figures were listed as Kaiju and Lex Luthor with baby Kaiju. Now again, these are just rumored toys from McFarlane. They have not been confirmed yet, but if they're true, it's pretty exciting. Now, those of you who've been keeping track of this project, this James Gunn Superman project, are probably aware of set leak photos that came out a couple of months ago showing a figure clad in a dark suit that had a U on his chest that looked very much like the U we see on Ultraman's chest in the comics. Others thought it was Ulysses, also a character from the comics. I was pulling for Ultraman, and for those of you who don't know, Ultraman is an evil version of Superman from Earth 3, a parallel world where the roles of pretty much every character in the DC universe have been reversed. So on Earth 3, their equivalents of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, etc. are all evil and part of a group called the Crime Syndicate, which is the opposite of the Justice League, and they rule their Earth with a reign of terror and an iron fist, and they're opposed by heroes like Lex Luthor. Now, I don't think that James Gunn is going to pull a multiverse story on us with the very first Superman film in the DCU slate. It's already got an enormous cast of heroes like Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, Metamorpho, Hawkgirl, the Engineer, Mr. Terrific, and Crypto the Superdog. And they've also confirmed the presence of Millie Alcock's Supergirl, who will be getting her own movie shortly after this one. So having all of that in the mix and then throwing in an alternate reality when the audience has not yet gotten used to the established reality of this movie universe, I don't think is something even James Gunn, with all of his vaulted weirdness, would actually try to do. So what I think we're going to get, or what I'm hoping we're going to get, is a clone of Superman made by Lex Luthor in an attempt to discredit Superman. He's created an evil clone under his control who goes around looking like Superman and doing terrible things. And maybe eventually this clone will deteriorate into Bizarro. That's been a fan theory floating around. It's kind of the one I think would be the most interesting to watch on screen, because having a live action Bizarro on the big screen would be pretty cool. But be that as it may, let's take a look at this article from Comic Book Movie. James Gunn has shared his response to a recent merchandise leak, which appeared to confirm the name of the villain the Man of Steel will face in the DCU Superman reboot. Now, he is a villain that the Man of Steel will face. James Gunn has said on social media that the villain of Superman is Lex Luthor. So Lex Luthor would be the one pulling the strings. So if Ultraman is in the film, he is not the primary antagonist. Anyway, the article says, earlier this week, a list of action figures for the upcoming McFarlane Toys Superman line was leaked online, seemingly confirming that David Corenswet's Man of Steel will indeed face off against Ultraman in the movie. This powerful villain's involvement was first rumored by scooper MTTSH, and some set photos of Supes doing battle with a masked individual with a big U on his chest appeared to leave little doubt. Gunn has previously weighed in on the rumor, and while some took his comments, see below, to mean that Ultraman will not appear, he clearly chose his wording very carefully. Quote, "The primary protagonist of Superman is, shockingly, Superman. The main villain of Superman is, shockingly, Lex Luthor. I don't know where all the stuff is coming from that it's something other than this. There are so many stories coming out every day it's difficult to deal with, and every time I strike something down, I'm giving it attention. So I'll say again, don't believe anything unless you see it here, and why would you want to know everything before a movie comes out anyway?" Unquote. So there you have it. Like, Lex Luthor is the villain of Superman, and this actually is a choice I'm a little bit dubious about, because I'm kind of sick of seeing Superman movies where the villain is Lex Luthor. I understand Lex Luthor is considered his arch nemesis, so it makes sense, but nearly every Superman movie we've ever had featured either Lex Luthor or General Zod as the villain, usually both at the same time. And Superman's rogues gallery is so deep and so cool and interesting that at first I was a little disappointed by the news that the villain of this Superman movie was going to be Lex Luthor. But I see where James Gunn is coming from. On the other hand, you want to stick to tradition. It's what people expect. The general audience probably doesn't know much about Superman's deep bench of rogues gallery. They just think Superman and they think Lex Luthor or sometimes General Zod. So from a marketing perspective, I guess it makes sense. And I trust James Gunn. I like almost every movie I've ever seen by him. So I think he's got what it takes to pull this off. I'm willing to see where he goes with it. But the toy leaks provoked an interesting comment from him, as we see on the screen here. The article says, these toy leaks seem to be pretty black and white. I think they mean black and white. But Gunn has now shared the following response via Threads. And by the way, James Gunn liked one of my posts on Threads, so it was actually a response that I made to one of his posts, but still, Senpai noticed me, and it was pretty cool. Anyway, here's what they're showing from Threads. The user Shebang Fearless, replying to James Gunn, wrote, "James, there are some toys and figures related to Superman 2025 that are potentially leaking big spoilers for the film. They are ruining the excitement for the movie. What do you have to say about these toy spoilers? They're not ruining the excitement for the movie. It's possible to be excited for a movie and know everything about it. It used to be that way for a lot of people. Not everyone cares about spoilers. I'm certainly not one who cares about spoilers. You have my permission. If we're ever in a conversation together and you're talking about a movie I haven't seen, go wild. I don't care if you spoil it for me. I'm one of those people that gets more excited about a story when I know more about it, or less excited, as the case may be. But this is something a lot of people care about. So James Gunn responded, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I have to okay all the toys, and I don't think any of them spoil anything. So the article then asks, does Gunn mean that this listing doesn't spoil anything because the set photo is already confirmed that Ultraman will appear, or that Ultraman is simply what he is being referred to for the time being? We have heard this might be a placeholder name for a character who many have speculated to be an amalgamation of several comic book villains, and there are rumors that he may ultimately be revealed as Bizarro, right? So that's what I was thinking too when I saw this on Thread. This response is very carefully worded. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I have to okay all the toys, and I don't think any of them spoil anything. That's not a denial that the leaked list of McFarlane toys is genuine, but it's also not confirmation. And he isn't saying which toys he approved and which ones he didn't approve, just that he has final say over everything. And he doesn't think the toys that have been approved spoil anything. So what's really going on here? I don't know, folks, but I'm just excited to be getting a Superman film after, I don't know what, 10 years? When did Man of Steel come out? I did not hate Man of Steel. I didn't hate Henry Cavill in the role of Superman. I wasn't a fan of the film either. I think Henry Cavill was a great choice to play Superman. The dude looks like his face structure looks like he was crafted in a lab to play Superman. And he did really well with what he was given to work with. I just felt that what he was given to work with wasn't quite true to the spirit of the Superman that I wanted to see. I know that movie has a lot of fans. I'm not gonna crap on them for liking it. Like I said, I did not hate Man of Steel, but I didn't love it either. And it didn't give me the Superman I wanted, the Superman that's from most of the Superman comics I've read in my life. And it looks like James Gunn is going to be giving me that version of Superman. I mean, having Krypto the super dog in the movie kind of tells me everything I need to know about this version of Superman. And it's the version of Superman that I most want to see. You know, the version who is not a power fantasy, but is a moral fantasy. Not the fantasy of what would it be like to have cool superpowers like shooting lasers from your eyes and being indestructible, but rather, what if a person with that power was actually good? What if absolute power does not corrupt absolutely? That's the fantasy of Superman. I want to see a Superman who brings joy to people, who tries to be a friend to everyone, and whom the world has learned to trust. And if the plot rumors that we're getting, or the fan theories we're getting, that the villain in this movie is going to be a clone of Superman controlled by Lex Luthor in an attempt to ruin Superman's reputation, that plot won't really work unless we are in a universe where Superman is already pretty much universally trusted by the public. So I'm excited, and I hope you're excited too. And that'll be the end of this low effort video. Hopefully it gets a lot of views. My last few low effort videos got quite a lot of views. And I have learned that I don't really need to work as hard on every single video as I was trying to do. So be on the lookout for some more scripted content. It'll be a couple of weeks before I put up another video essay style thing. But in the meantime, I'll be doing stuff like this. If you like this kind of content, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, share the video and all that good stuff. And until next time, remember that what's best in life is to crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and engage in discourse with the women. See you next time.